Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. We're so slick now, you naysayers. We're getting better and better. But first, before I do introductions, I did get given a Cara drawers to do, and here is I went for the wiggly eyebrows on the pig. So there we go. I think that's exactly what was asked for.
It is
So
hard to tell that that's the pig, to be honest. The resemblance.
with it on my head, it just makes me look a bit like I'm a pig from a Minecraft pig or something. But there is Minecraft pig. So there we go. Anyway, see, never say. See, use your points, use them well, and you get all the joys and excitement of using them. So yes, hello. We are the boys from the Baltic Star. Thank you for joining us this evening. If it is your first time, you are very welcome. If it is your 50th time, you're very welcome. If it's anywhere in between, you're also very welcome. You're just a welcome, and thank you so much. Please feel free to join in the chat or lurk as much as you want. We know that time is precious, and none of us is getting any younger, and so we just appreciate any minutes that you guys can offer us, really. And thank you for that. It's very humbling, very humbling. If you haven't already, please consider following us on Twitter at Boys Baltic. We're on Instagram as well, Boys from the Baltic Star. We're on Twitch. That's how you're watching us. So consider following us there if you like what you see. We appreciate that as well. Etc. etc. You can't see any of us. You should be able to. Can anyone else see anyone? Yeah, thank you. It's just Fids. Oh, Fids. Oh, it wasn't aimed at you, Kelly. Definitely not. A little panic about viewing is not a problem. Thank goodness. There we are. Look. Speaking of us, hello. My name is Luke. I'm in the bottom corner in the blue. Lovely to meet you. I'm meeting you for the first time. I play Cara and Sarai in this game. Cara is an artist. She's quite headstrong. She is a very good talker. She does vlogs. She'll just go up and tell people exactly what we're about to do quite often. Soraya is a bit different. Soraya spent her career working as sort of on the fringes of the universe. She's a scout, so she's not so good with people, but her heart's in the right place, and she's very sort of jack of all trades. You get grease on the elbows. I don't know, where does grease go? Apart from don't say the Mediterranean.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, philosophy for Cara. She's the philosopher of the group. But that's
the
those.
right of Italy, you know.
That's why I had to preempt you. I knew you'd be like that. There's a reason why Ben is so good at such things. We'll go into that in a second. To across on the videos today, we're sort of going in size of most zoomed in. Ewan, who's sitting about 40 meters away from the screen, I think it's because he loves being close to those strong arms behind him of Greyhill Best. You're looking glorious tonight, Ewan. How are you doing?
Thanks. I'm pretty good, actually. Thank you so far. Until we get into combat, who knows? Things could go awry.
Things often do. How about fist pump? We can do our fist bump, our patented fist bump. Ben will have to duck
get a bit
today.
closer,
There we go.
so you're not bumping
We're in. Oh yeah. Got there in the end. Who do you play, Ewan? You're talking about going into combat, but it's not you that's going to be firing those guns.
No, it's not. I play Agnar and Stefan. Agnar, former general, military tactician, stroke medic, and Stefan, general, sneaky space rogue type person.
Well, fantastic. Thank you, Ewan. We all love Ewan, by the way. That's been decided in the stream, just so you're aware.
He is what
By
counts
Luke.
the first track for us.
Nobody else gets a say in the matter.
People come to these videos expecting role playing, and what it is, it's a thirst trap video. But anyway, the last person we need to introduce is the man in the middle, like Michael Jackson. The man who lives 24 hours a day in the Twin Peaks dream sequence. The smartest man in any room. That's why he immediately had a good joke about Greece. The man who is going to guide us with love and care and non-violence to a very safe evening. Who has our safety at heart. He is, of course, the man with the sexiest voice in all of Faversham.
Wow, you set that bar.
He's the only man in that room. That's what we know, Kelly. He's so popular, he draws a crowd. He has chairs lined up. There's like 30 people watching him.
You can't see. I've actually got a group of sort of cheerleaders in front, sort of just celebrating my every achievement.
No music. Oh, what? It worked for me. Sorry. It's Ben. Ben. How you doing, Ben?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, well, and looking forward to this. Not just because there's a fighting chance that you'll all die, which is always fun for me, but also because I'm actually getting more and more into weaving a third-party module into the campaign. I'm enjoying doing that.
I think you're doing a very good job of it as well. And I think the writer is enjoying it as well. So that's good. That's always good news.
It is good news. Yeah.
So, speaking of campaigns, why don't you lead us on to season 2, episode 5 of this campaign?
Season 2, episode 5. This is actually our 46th episode. Okay.
Oh, you're using old money.
Before decimalisation. Quite right. The travellers returned to the Priory of Panunzio in the desert of Dilub Rou after taking a look at the defences that Lara's band had installed at Morse's Pit. Now, Morse's Pit, if you recall, is the property owned by Dilub Rou, a friend to the Baltic Star crew, and they're planning to help him rid it of its infestation of bandits. At the Priory, they stuck their noses deeply into the business of Garo Kavarian, the injured miner. He's been offered a large sum of money to pay for the damage to his home caused by the Pan System Power industrial accident, and the party has offered to take him to his home tomorrow to see the damage and the work needed. Perhaps this contact within Pan System Power might give them access to the corporation somehow, as they also have a mission to secure a local deal for the man with all the ships, Azure Lane, which needs PSP's approval. The representatives of PSP were not Kavarian's only visitors, however. He was also chatting with the police about his colleagues in a mining collective, the WEF Free Company. It seems the police have received a tip that some members of the WEF are using slave labour, and were asking Kavarian if he'd seen any evidence of this, something he denied. Before leaving the Priory, the travellers enlisted the assistance of the nuns in securing some Dilub Rou coloured ghillie suits for their impending battle, and as night fell, they, along with Tilon Rack and Amelia Jax, who are former Marines after all, set off for Morse's Pit with violence on their minds. Splitting the party into groups, the travellers sent Stefan and Kara around the back of the pit to sneak up on the heavy weapon installed on the ridge above it, while the remainder split into 3 groups to approach from the front. Slowly and carefully, the pair on top of the ridge crawled into position for taking a shot at the gunner overlooking the approaches to the pit. And then Stefan, with a single shot, killed the person, a silent, instant kill, preserving their stealth, at least for the moment. The other 6, in front of the pit, are splitting into pairs and silently rushing into cover behind the mine leavings by the entrances. And that is where we resume the story. So, guys, it's all going brilliantly. Remind me how the pairs are split up.
It is. We've got Varga on Varga action. Agnar and Raka together.
Yep.
Agnar did his best to make sure that they would go together. It was quite cute, to be fair. Soraya and Zoe,
Mhm.
and Jax and Sammy.
Okay. Excellent stuff. Right. Well, this might therefore be the right moment
Oh, I better change the graphics.
to bring up a map for you guys,
A map.
because otherwise it would seem unnecessarily cruel.
I think so. This is where people see that while I changed the images for the top bar for Agnar, for Kara, for Stefan, and for Soraya, I forgot to change the graphics on the sidebar. It's their old pictures. It's very upsetting.
Old pictures.
Old pictures, man. Can't be doing with
And you
old
say none of
pictures.
us are getting any younger, but it turns out the characters are. That's how they were pictured a while ago.
Exactly. Back to how they were. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, I'm hoping for some finger guns today. Hang on. Is that going to be the best one? We're doing it. Yeah, doesn't lose too much. You need two. Stefan needs another. Stefan needs two, really, Ewan. So you can just go in and. Great.
That would be quite cool. That would be quite cool.
It would.
I need to go a bit bigger than that. Sorry.
Oh, it's exciting. So long since. When was the last time we had a map? We had a map on the ship.
On the seamstress.
Yes, we did with the Varga ship. That's right. We had two as well.
Fact, we had one before that, didn't we? When we were chasing.
Yeah, you had one in the tunnels, and then you had one in the big hangar bay.
Yes.
Oh, see, we're getting used to these maps now. Having them all the time. Just never stop having maps.
Essentially, though Stefan and Kara haven't made it to the actual emplacement yet, they're still some way to the north. That black circle on the map indicates the location of that heavy weapon.
Yeah.
The sort of grey area is the cliff face, and you can see the sort of red bits are the airlock entrances into the mine, into Morse's pit itself, from the brown area which is in front of it. And hopefully you can see there is a fair amount of sort of fairly rocky cover in the approaches of it, which you can make use of if you will.
Hi, Ali.
One is going to make you.
You're all right. Well, it's cover. It'd be silly not to use the cover, surely.
Well, you say that. So, we have three groups. How would you like them dispersed? So, if we start with, say, Agnar and Rack.
But this is the question. Me and Ewan did actually have. Oh, spares as well. Ah, look, everyone's here. All our faves. We were trying to work out who was going to approach the left-hand door, basically. We were thinking about two lots going to the right-hand door and one going to the left-hand door. It's just who's who, I think, wasn't it, Ian?
Yeah.
So we've got three lots of cover. So they would go towards that cover on the left, whoever that team was.
Yeah.
Who seems like the best pairing to take on the world together?
To be fair, I think it could be any of the three pairs.
I'm going to say not Jax and Sammy, just because I know Sammy's skilled up, but it's sort of, I'd rather she was with a group of where there was more people around, if that makes sense.
All right, so you want Jax and Sammy to aim for the larger of the doors.
Yeah, put them on the right-hand side, behind the cover on the right-hand side.
Okay.
That sorts out. Oh, so yeah, let's get some philosophy going. See, Kelly's all over this. Definitely wants some philosophy.
And then I guess it's up to us.
Yeah.
Up to Agnar and Soraya. And possibly Rack. Rack might have an opinion on whether he wants to go with Jax or not. Which do you fancy, Luke?
Heads, I'll go big. Tails, I'll go to the little one.
Seems a good way.
Sarai literally pulls out a coin and flicks it. Agnar's getting a boon. In which case, well, that's good for him because I got ahead.
Thanks, man.
So Agnar and Rak are going in alone.
It's the way Agnar would have wanted it.
Of course, it's a bit of privacy down the side.
Yeah.
I can chat about old times, old victories.
Agnar and Rak heading to the left.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okie dokie.
The Dance of the Seven Veils while in a hot tub, maybe. That's a hot tub in.
I mean, I'm not sure what kind of role dancing would be, but that's definitely what I'm saving his boon for.
Kara's getting a boon as well. That's helpful. Because Kara and Stefan will be approaching, I'm guessing, to try and take the turret or something. So, could be helpful. Make a note. I'm going to make a note. Agnar and Kara boons. We love that. Thank you, guys. Like a bit
Boons are always helpful. Especially when Ben's trying to kill us.
I know. And he doesn't hide it either. He just does it with so much glee. That's the problem.
Oh, I joke. It's not really Ben. It's all these dastardly NPCs that he's throwing at us. I've got a name an NPC as well, Ben.
Okay.
Of Marcus von Cotswolds. Obviously.
Marcus von Cotswolds. It's been a while since we had a Cotswolds.
Hey,
it has been too long. Far too long.
It's nice to know. It's nice to know the von Cotswolds have potentially have some family on Dilub Rou. It's nice that they've spread out a bit. They were very geeker based, weren't they? As a family, it's nice to know those.
Yeah. I mean, there were almost as many von Cotswolds on Geeker as they were Tims, and that was a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the most popular name.
It still remains to be seen, though. You know, we feel as though they could be very heavily geeker based, but depending on how points are spent, there could be, 40 odd von Cotswolds on this planet.
Oh, it could be a lot. There's not been a Tim von Cotswolds. You're right, Leno.
That is a good call.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a Tim von Cotswolds, to be honest.
You would think that would be up there. I'll drink to that.
Oh, I need to. Oh.
Okay.
There we go. There's some faces I recognise.
So, what we have here is the dispositions as I sort of imagine them in my brain. If there's any tweaks you want to make, now is the time. Because once we actually start, we're going to be measuring movements and things.
Oh, yes. Old school.
No, that looks good to me.
I think that seems a reasonable starting place.
Yeah.
Each square is the metre and a half, isn't it?
Yes. Each square is 1.5 metres.
Cool. Nice one. That looks good, Ben. Thank you. Look at them scurried away in their little rocky outcrops. Love it.
Mr. Leno, that was not actually a prompt. I promise you it was not a prompt.
I haven't taken the Tim button away, have I? Don't upset me. Is it there? Oh no. Don't.
Had me breathe through it and I'm okay now.
Concerning me. I find that every now and again when I click on it, it doesn't show them all up. So I have a little panic every now and again that something's not working right.
Mm-hmm.
So don't upset. I get very nervous about it. Tim!
No, Tim is there. I've got Tim.
You got Tim. Well, we know
Ali's
Tim's
got
there because
Tim.
Ali's got Tim.
Thanks,
Tim. Oh, it's been a while since we've had a good Timming. It hasn't really been the planet for a good Timming, has it?
Not yet.
There's
There's always time.
It's always time. It's because the one guy we've sort of done stuff with in the shop actually had a name before he could just be Tim. Curses. There we go. We're back.
Okay.
We there?
Yep. I think if everyone's happy with the position, we are good to go.
Magic.
Yeah.
All right. So, first thing to think about is leadership and tactics. So, one traveller, if in this group, can deploy a tactics role, which could theoretically get you boons, or if you fail it, get me boons that I can use against you. And one traveller can try a leadership role to see if you can get bonuses for initiative.
To Grey Hill. Oh, we had it to Grey Hill.
Yes.
Thank you,
Grey
Graham
Hill.
Sledge. Thank you. I hope you're okay.
Grey Hill.
To Grey
Ah,
Hill.
hi, Gamers Ledge.
Ah,
I was just saying before the stream, you made a terrible, terrible mistake yesterday because you teased the opportunity for me to do a voiceover for you, and I'm now going to hound you until you let me.
He will as well. Oh, more to Grey Hill.
to Grey Hill. This is good. I feel like
This
we're building up to
combat's
something
gonna
here. I've got boons. We've been calling on the spirit of Grey Hill. Oh no, but Grey Hill got killed. Probably not the best person to call on the spirit of when it comes to combat.
I was just thinking midweek that person at the heavy artillery was probably the Lara's band equivalent of their Grey Hill,
Oh,
and now he's gone. They're gone.
Mm.
yeah, we need to be careful. Spurs is right. Okay, leadership, Ben.
Leadership and tactics. Who wants to have a go?
Definitely not me. Well, I've got Sarai, haven't I? No spank.
Has Ragnar got leadership or tactics?
He's got both.
Of course he has. What a
Okay.
guy. What a guy.
This may be his time to shine.
Or not. You never know. Okay, cool. Let's do tactics because Luke and I have both got a boon. It seems
Okay,
only fitting that
fair enough. Tactics it is.
we
I
should
mean, you
give
can do
Ben
both.
the
You understand. You've got
opportunity.
plenty of time to brief people before the game.
Well, that's true. Well, let's start with tactics.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
see,
why
see
not?
how the dice roll. And go from there. Which is a +3. Ragnar. Ooh, he rolled an 8 +3.
An 11. My word. Okay, so Team Boys from the Baltic Star
Yes.
has 3 boons available to be dispersed as needed during this combat.
Oh, so we've got a boon for Ragnar, we've got a boon for Kara, and 3 more boons. Oh, we're booned up.
Excellent.
Boon to our
And
eyeballs.
now your leadership role.
Wonderful. That is a 1. And that's a 6 + 1 is a 7.
Okay, so everybody's initiative is -1 compared to what they roll.
But at least they don't know we're coming, so
Absolutely,
Well,
they can't possibly know you're coming.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Luke.
I'm upset. We'll have to make use of these boons. You should have used the boon for rolling for leadership.
Wow.
It got really
I should
meta.
have used my Agnar boon for rolling for boons, and then I should have used one of those boons for rolling for
Yes.
That feels a bit
Wow.
bitter, though, doesn't it? Really.
It does feel a bit min-maxy, doesn't it?
Bada
Right.
boons.
Okay, so everybody now needs to roll for their initiative,
Oh,
which is
initiative.
effectively a standard roll using either Dex or Intellect, whichever is your better.
My dice are really, really warm because, as the 2 guys will know, I've gone old school and I shoved them in on my seat between my legs to warm them up in an old-fashioned Role-playing style. Oh, that's nice, Leno. I like your thinking. This is.
Do you want it for the two on top of the cliff as well?
Not yet. Let's sort of allow for that to happen naturally, if you know what I mean.
And we've got to take one off, right? So we do our thing,
-1,
then we
yeah.
take, and we can do it with intellect or dex. Okay.
Wow.
6 for Soraya then.
Yeah, Agnar rolled a 3.
Oh, Agnar.
-1 + 2. Gives him a 4.
It's because he's.
Agnar's got a 4.
Yeah.
It's 'cause he's caught up with all his thinking
He's
about
distracted
Rack.
by Rack.
Yeah, of course he is.
And Soraya's got a 6, you say?
Yeah. Rack must be so resplendent just before he goes into battle, I'd imagine. The focus on his face.
Yeah, it must be prime Rack.
Prime Rack.
Oh, God. Yes, that's terrible. Terrible.
It's a shame his name isn't Rib, really.
It's true. If Rack and Agnar work well as a team, we could nickname Agnar as Ruin, and then they could be Rack and Ruin. Well, strong team. Soraya's leading it with a 6. That's terrifying.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Ah, Zoe. Good old Zoe. Yeah. Motley Crew. Yeah. It does. It's very modern. Goodness.
Yes, and it's relevant for your purposes because even though they don't appear in the list because they're not iconed up,
Yeah.
Actually both Rack and Jax are between Zoe and Soraya in the order. Rack rolled a 9 and Jax a 7.
Okey-dokey.
So it's not quite as desperate as it looks.
Sure.
Luckily, we're surrounded by greater experts than we're letting the side down. Soraya will message over to Agnar. Agnar, eyes on front, Agnar. Come on, man. Come on. You're lagging behind. Come on.
And what is Soraya's dex, please?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. It's 8. Very standard 8.
Okay, 8. Fair enough. And then Soraya gets to go before the initiative of the other group when they appear and start to operate.
Oh.
So they happen between Soraya and Sammy. Okay?
Okay. Oh, so there are another group. That's good to know.
Right. Okay. We're good to go.
Yes,
So
that time.
do you guys have an actual plan? I mean, beyond just rolling dice and hoping for the best. Because Zoe's about to move, and it would be helpful if she knew where she was supposed to go and what she was supposed to do.
I think rolling dice and hoping for the best is a perfectly reasonable plan.
Agnar will message Soraya back and say, "Did you bring those charges?"
She'd be like, I did. I left one to Kara, but I have got I got 2 TDX left, and I got some bits and pieces. I got some plastic. I got some surprises if people need it. We can go in big and bangy if the doors are locked. Though you might want to check with your man if he's happy for us to blow the doors off. Of his nice new house with airlocks.
When you contact Rack over the preparation phase, he says he's torn on the matter. He thinks there may be benefit, assuming the doors are not sealed. There may be benefit to literally sneaking in and catching them by surprise. But there also might be a benefit to shattering both the out and inner airlock doors, letting the good air inside rush out, and maybe you might catch 1 or 2 of them without their breath masks on. So it's a question basically of whether you think you're equipped better for a frontal assault with all guns blazing, or better for a stealthy approach, I guess.
Oh.
We could even do both. We could have one team
to draw
blow
them.
the bloody doors off, and then the other team sneak in.
I like your thinking.
Assuming that both doors are linked up.
Two totally different buildings that go in different directions.
Well,
it's his neighbour.
Just air supply wise, there's not another airlock in between them, I guess. Would be the.
I do like your thinking. Maybe get the two Varga. Maybe sneaking in. See if they can open up the airlock first. Make sure, because we don't want to make that the plan, then can't, the airlocks are locked, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Should we at least make it to the doors first and see where we go from there?
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Then Zoe is essentially going to move up as far as she can get to get close to the door that she's aiming for. Which actually, if she uses all of her movement, she's got nothing else to do this turn, remember, can put her into position. So that's all right. Next up is Rack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. He can do the same. He can move to his door without any inherent problems. So he will do the same. And Jax, she's a bit further out. She can, however, get to a little pile of rubble, not very far in front of her. So that's what she's going to do to get that far forward. Right, Soraya.
Well, get as close as she can to Zoe, please.
She can be literally any side of Zoe she needs to be, because she's going to be able to use her minor actions, if you like, to run at this point.
That's cool. I will go to the south, 1 square to the south of Zoe, then, please.
Okie dokie.
Just in case I do need to get the old explosives ready to roll.
Excellent stuff. And next up on our list is Sammy, who will... She's not really a brawler, Sammy. I think she's going to stay where she is for the moment and just keep an aim on the doors, because at the moment she's got a reasonable angle to see through them. I think she's going to stay there for now. Which leaves Agnar next.
Agnar he'll aim for the opposite side of the door to Rack.
Yep, no problem at all. All right. And that is the end of everyone's turn. Bear with me a second.
Okay. Oh,
okay.
Mysterious machinations.
Okay. Nothing appears to continue to happen.
That's good to know. Sorry, I get these ominous vibes starting when combat starts. It throws me. Okay. Survival. Can Soraya message over as part? Soraya will message over during the thing, sort of saying, "Okay, I can explode it if you guys want to see with the other door. We'll see how it goes. Play it by ear."
All right. So what order are you doing things? Because you're not technically in combat. The only reason we move them in this order is because needing to let people move at whatever pace they wanted. But everyone can just hold tight until Soraya's moved into position. If you want to blow the big doors,
yeah,
or possibly open the outer big door and then blow the inner one. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. If we could see if both groups could get through the outer door before a decision is made, because you don't know what you're going to see, do you? You don't know what you're going to see.
Okay, then Zoe is going to hit the button and pump the outer door.
Oh. Okay.
And it slides open. You can see inside, and what you can see is what's in there. It is an empty airlock. Knowing that Soraya's planning to blow the inner one, so he's going to stay put and just train a weapon on that second door. So meanwhile, Rack does the same thing on the western door, pumps it, and the door opens. This time he's not expecting anyone to immediately put a bomb in the airlock. So he's going to move in to the inside and wait until a distraction or something similar before trying to open the inner airlock door. You understand airlocks are normally designed so you can only open the inner door when the outer door's closed.
Yes.
Obviously, that doesn't work if you're exploding things.
Yeah, it's not so much of an issue at this side.
Do we know, is there any kind of fail safe, like electronic or not, that would, if the inner door is gone, the outer door would just automatically shut?
Generally speaking, if the outer door is open and the inner door is breached, there would be a pressure system which would say must slam the outer door. Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
I'd mail a message over to Soraya and just say, see if there's anything there that you can use to wedge open the outer door.
Yeah, that's
potentially.
Could we get Sammy's good with rocks? Are there any things that she knows the rocks? Sammy, you know your rocks. Is there anything there that could that you guys could drag over to wedge open the outer door?
Let's have a think. Okay. You can put a rock there, but because of the way the doors are designed, it would be unlikely, I think, that the door would not shut. You would, if it could trap the rock in the door jamb, it wouldn't shut completely. It wouldn't make an airtight seal, if you see what I mean, but it would close up until it hit the point where a pebble stopped it actually shutting properly.
Yeah.
So you'd be left with a handful of inches gap, perhaps, not enough to come and go through.
Okay.
So you'd still want to be in.
If we really want to flush the air, then we need that door open. If that's what our noise is. So the question is, does Soraya go inside to the inside door, plant something, and then come to the outside door, plant something against that, and try and, now that it's open, blow it both, so that there's no excuse, but the air will go through, and the house is breached. If that works.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just blow them both, couldn't you?
Two for the price. I've got the explosives. Would plastic do this, Ben, or would I need TDX for this? What would be the best choice?
Can you roll a check against your demolition skill, please?
I've rolled an 8. Sorry.
Okay. And what's your demolition skill?
It's a -1. As in, I rolled a 9 and it's a -1.
Oh, I see. Okay. So 9, yeah, -1. Okay, good. TDX would work, but would be dangerous because it's a linear explosive or planar explosive. It's a 2-dimensional explosive.
Yeah.
So in essence, if you planted it like a limpet on the door, it would explode across the face of the door without really doing any damage to the door. If you plant it sort of on the ground in front of the door, it would blow a slice through the door, but not necessarily achieve your objective.
Plastic is the way.
And it would send out a blast across the surface in many directions.
So plastic is definitely the way for this then. Okay. Let's do it. So, Soraya will walk inside to the inside door. She'll place plastic on the door. Knowing where the outside door is, the outside door, is there sort of a locking latch on the door? So the best place to put it, to blow that, or is it literally just a slidey door that slides into a recess?
It's essentially a telescoping door.
Oh, okay.
Made of multiple components which slide inside each other.
Yeah.
So if you really want to blow it the hell off its hinges, the place to put it is really in the middle.
Cool.
Where that central piece is right in the middle of the whole structural strength.
Yes, which will just cause it to. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then Sarai will put plastic on the center of the inside door.
Okie dokie.
And can I have them wired separately on separate clickers?
You can, or you can. I mean, they're radio detonated, so you can detonate them literally together on the same button push, or separately, as your choice.
Okay, I'll run them together then. The other one I'm going to push because the door has opened.
Yeah, at the moment you don't actually have access to the door because the outer door is open.
Okay. If the door was closed, how? No, that's not going to work. If I shoved the plastic into the bit where the door has gone back to, its own recess, just shoved it against that would potentially cause damage, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it would presumably break half of the door completely. It would probably twist it and buckle it and make it incapable of closing.
Then
the other half would probably close.
Okay. That still should be enough, though. I think that's going to be, with the door open, that's going to be the best option, I think. If we want to make sure there's definitely no way for the door to shut. I'll do that then.
Okay, all right. Now, you won't be able to do that second planting this turn.
That's okay.
And as I say, the only reason I do that is because I have to roll periodically for what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So after Soraya, we have Sammy, who's realistically just got to move closer, hasn't she? She can get to. It's not as good an angle, but it's closer for when the actual running starts, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
She can get into a usable position. Okay, and hunker down there, weapon ready. And Agnar, are you going into the airlock?
Yeah, Agnar will he'll sling his carbine that he was using for the approach because it's got a better range over his shoulder, and take his shotgun out, and he will enter.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Then in that case, that's the bottom of the order. Nobody is planning to do anything except for Soraya this turn. So bear with me. Okay. Right. Nothing seems to continue to happen. Amazing.
That's what I like.
Okay. Soraya is coming out, and as she comes out, she's planting the second explosive charge. Is that correct?
Yes, please. And I'll swing round to the right. I would assume that if I swing right round to the right and up a bit from the corner, that will provide me with some protection from the.
Yes, essentially, I think that's true. And you can do all of that in one move quite easily, in fact.
Lovely. In which case, I will keep my radio detonator, but I'll also put my guided weapon into her hands, ready to go. The guided carbine, slung, ready for use.
Okay. So, Zoe and Soraya have finished the process of recceing that, and they are now hunkered down around the door, ready to charge in. If you are calling that for the end of the round, so everyone's ready, then I get to roll again.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
My people suck.
Yeah.
So,
Woohoo! That's what I like to. They can carry on sucking, is what they can do. So.
okay, we're good to go. So the first person to go in combat order is Zoe, but obviously she's got nothing she can do because the doors haven't blown yet. Then we have Rack. Is this the moment you want Rack to punch the inner door?
Oh, it's that risky timing. Does it? What are you thinking, Ewan? He's your guy.
I mean, it all depends on whether there's someone on the other side of the door, really, doesn't it? I think it's better to wait for after the explosion.
Okay.
Does it look like it'll open? Does it look normal? The door. It doesn't look. There's no obvious reason why it wouldn't open. Like there might be many reasons why it doesn't. Sorry, I can't. That'd be Ewan. Sorry, I can't do that. Sorry, Ewan.
That's all right. Don't worry. Investigate. Ooh, that's a 12 plus 1.
13. There does appear to be something modified about the inner door. No reason to believe it's anything particularly suspicious. It looks as if the inner door was patched and not particularly well. So it may not be an entirely reliable entranceway. A quick investigation suggests it hasn't been used all that much recently.
Okay. I'll say it looks a bit old. Looks like it's been jerry-rigged a little bit.
Okay. Well, when this goes off, you've got to do the best you can to get through that door as quickly and as quietly as possible, I guess. But priority's got to be getting through it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we are ready for Soraya to hit her button.
Push the button for me, boy.
So.
Oh no, wrong dice. Oh no, they're the right dice.
Yep.
Oh, they've gone cold. Okay.
I need Soraya to roll a demolitions check, please.
Yep.
For each of the doors. So the outer one first.
Okay. Can I use any of my intellect, for example?
You can use intellect or education, your choice, since you're actually trained in demolitions, aren't you?
I've got my jack of all trades. So.
In that case, you can use intellect.
Oh, good. That's good because intellect's what I've got. So.
Don't forget you've got boons as well.
And
training in a subject area, you can often use education, but if you're winging it, you can only use your raw intellect.
That makes sense. I'm going to boon for the inside door, but not for the outside door, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Okay. Here we go. Outside door first.
No boon.
I hit a +1 -1 flat 8.
A flat 8. Okay. And the inner door, because you're triggering them at the same moment, aren't you?
Yep, and I'm booning for the inside door, please. You can't just say it, Fitz.
Has a spare boon as well.
You got to spend the money, Fitz. You can't just say it. That's not how the game works. Poor old Ben would always be stuck with boons. If everyone would just do a boon, unless you mean use one of the 3 that we've got, because we've got 3 anyway.
Yeah, you got some spares.
I'll use one of the 3 we got. Let me cross that off. So now we've got 2. Here we go. How dare you, Leno? Very dare you.
Well, that's all right. They cancel out.
They cancel out, and I'll just use the one that we've got anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, the inner one is. Cool. I'm glad. Well, it depends because I hit a 3, 4, and 5. So that is a 9. +1 -1 is 9.
9. Okay. The atmosphere is a little bit thinner than, say, on Earth, but nonetheless, the explosion is a serious concussive shock. The two of them technically don't fire at exactly the same instant, but they fire close enough together that you can't by ear tell them apart. The inner door is blown completely away, just blown clean off its hinges. It is gone and done. The outer door, the right hand door side, is wrecked, warped, and however much damage is done to it is kind of irrelevant because it doesn't close.
Yeah.
The left hand side of it does close, slamming shut, and there's a quite loud alarm that happens as it does so, trying to alert people to the fact that there's a pressure failure.
Whoop whoop! Pressure failure. This is a pressure failure. Failure. The pressure is failing. Failing.
This is not a drill.
Exactly.
It's sort of like Holly's emergency messages on Red Dwarf, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, the pressure's failing. It's an emergency, not a drill.
Not a drill. Yes, we're in.
Okay. Now, I think logically, the thing to do here is to accept that Soraya could plant that, wait a couple of seconds, and effectively trigger it because it's no action at all, right at the bottom of your guy's turn. So we're now back in initiative order with Zoe to go first.
That makes an awful lot of sense.
Well, it makes it easier for me to keep track of things, if you know what I mean. So I'm fully aware that this is cheating in my mind, but I'm doing it anyway.
That's good.
Well, you did say we weren't in combat order, didn't you?
Yeah, it's true.
So, you know.
It's true. Zoe is essentially able to get to the right-hand side-ish of the door without using up her action capabilities.
Oh, that's good.
And she's definitely not going to use up her action capabilities until she knows what's happening. So first things first.
Ooh, map. It's a map, dear. In we go. Like a hobbit house. To the hobbit house.
You can actually see a bit more of the complex.
Is that a cage?
That is a fairly substantial looking lid
for a hot tub
over an entrance to the mine shaft beneath it.
Of course, that's what we talked about last week, isn't it?
Yeah.
The lower floors. Got excited for hot tubbing then.
So that's what that is. And Zoe, let's look at her line of sight. Yeah. Zoe can also see a person. Only one person can Zoe see, but she can see a person. Zoe is going to take a shot.
3.
Right. This is the very first time Zoe has used her new weapon.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's exciting.
It's not going to be as interesting as I thought, though, because that was a terrible roll.
Oh, Zoe.
So 3 plus... Okay, well, yes, it's a terrible roll, but actually, with the bonuses that she's got and the weapons, it's still above 8. However, it's nowhere near enough to deal with the armor of the person unless she rolls extraordinarily well. Let's put it that way. It's a hit, but not by much. All right, let me just check the damage. Okay, damage isn't bad. Oh, that's actually not bad.
Sorry.
Okay.
Zoe's coming up clutch.
Zoe hits, and it does seem to not only hit the person but nick away through the armor, but not by very much. The person is hit and slightly injured, but not badly. Okay.
Looks down at their arm a bit grumpily. What?
Now they look sore, both senses of the word, not incapacitated.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah.
So we have Tilon Rack next. He is going to punch the inner airlock door. And we're about to find out if their maintenance is up to anything.
Oh.
Okay. They are, apparently.
Right.
The inner door, it judders a bit and it whines a bit, but it does slide open. And Rack immediately charges forward, looking for cover in front of him. If I show you where we are. So Rack, where can he go that looks good? Not very far if he doesn't want to be suiciding. So he's going to go inside, but not by very much.
He's so close to having his home back. He doesn't want to be suiciding at this point.
No.
You can literally smell
anyway, he's got people for that.
Exactly. Wait, what?
Right, Jax. You know what? Jax is going to take a shot. She's actually got line of sight.
She's also
onto the
slightly unhinged.
the spotted person, just straight past Zoe's right shoulder, essentially.
Oh, cool.
So she's going to take a shot.
So Raya's eyes widen a bit at seeing her dinner. Like, wow, okay, this girl's got skills.
That's a 21 to hit. Yes. Adds up to 18, so she's got plus 10 on the damage.
What's the skills has she got?
Well, no, she rolled extremely well.
Oh, my goodness.
12, 22. Okay. The person is hit for a second time, and this time the shot seems to be front and center, right into the body. Not clear whether or not it will eventually prove fatal, because what happens is that the person just crawls back a little way, back down the passageway.
Oh.
But it looked like a really nasty hit. Put it that way.
So I gives her the thumbs up. from behind the door, behind the
And
corner.
it is Soraya's turn next.
And she will move around, and I guess the right-hand side of the door is the one that I can get through, isn't it?
Yes.
So she'll go, I'm guessing her move 1, 2, 3 will get her pretty much almost next to Zoe, right? 1.
Yeah, she can
2,
literally
3, 4.
go next to Zoe that way.
Then I'll do that, please.
Okie dokie. Now you can move again, of course, or
the inside blown door, is there any cover afforded by the remains as the smoke
no,
settles?
it's blown completely off its hinge supports. So it's wreckage, basically.
Can I go diagonally to the left, one more movement, and then as a minor, can I just like drop to the ground, please? Make myself a bit of a smaller target.
So you want to go essentially to the top left corner of the airlock?
Yeah, pretty much.
And
where
then
that
go
is.
prone.
And then go prone, please, yeah.
Yep, okay.
We got to get in there, you know, you got to take them by surprise, but at the same time, with very little cover, it's risky just charging. And I am risk averse.
Okay. So we have next up Sammy.
You be safe, Sammy. Don't do anything stupid in there, girl.
Sammy, I think, is going to move up, but not go reckless. She's going to put herself in a position where she can provide support. Then she's going to aim in to the corridor and take a sort of readiness action or whatever. I know it doesn't count for anything because you haven't got a target to aim at, but she's going to get ready.
Okay, that's good.
Which means Agnar, you're next up.
Wonderful. How many spaces is can we take and still have an action? How many is a minor? Is it 3?
Essentially, you can move 3 diagonally, 4 orthogonally.
Yes. Okay. He'll go 4 straight up to start off with and see what he sees.
4 straight up. Yep.
Yes.
He can indeed. That puts him about there.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So what he can see, first of all, is the person who the others were shooting at is visible in the corridor and hasn't made it very far. This person does not appear to be moving, is bleeding heavily, and it appears that they're not going to recover because their suit has been thoroughly ruptured, well beyond its ability to self-seal. So even if they weren't going to bleed out, they're going to suffocate.
Yeah.
He has, however, also seen that down here there is a little alcove area. And in this alcove area, there is a person. And this person is an armed person and is going to be able to fire on their turn. Now, here's the really good news. They've already had their turn.
Hooray!
They get their turn in front of Soraya.
Okay.
So Agnar is in fact the very bottom of our order list. You have the ability to take a shot, Agnar, or you can move again, or whatever you want to
do. Agnar will. Can he? We're still technically the stealthy team, aren't we? Can he move up against the rock face to his north, the diagonal rock face?
Yes, sort of 2 spaces up. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so somewhere around there,
yeah,
Agnar settles in and can get at least limited cover. He could get it. He's still got some more movement if he wants to actually head further up and around the corner properly.
Can he? He'll pause for a moment and he'll do some hand signals over to Rack, and he'll just like one person that way, because the other person is pretty much a goner.
Yeah.
And then can he make it to that corner?
The corner, he can go if he uses all of his action or his move remaining. He can essentially get, if you like, 1 space over and up to 3 spaces up. Oh, sorry, up to 2 spaces up.
Okay, yeah, he'll move up there. That is good.
So essentially,
1 left, 2 up.
Confirm you're happy with that as his position.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. If you're happy with that, Agnar notices as he gets there that first of all, to his north is another one of these covered entrances to the underlying mine, which looks thoroughly sealed down and covered in dust and covered in grime, and in some cases just rubbish. People have used it as a platform to rest things on.
Yeah.
Not in use, clearly. So that's something he can spot from where he is quite comfortably, in case that's of relevance. And the other thing he notices is that literally just round the corner up there is another person.
Cool.
Oh.
Quick question: the mine entrances, are they flat to the ground, or would they provide cover? If
they would provide a limited amount of cover, yeah.
Okay, cool.
They are high enough that you could crouch down or lie down behind them. Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. That's his go, I guess.
That's him done, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Okay, Zoe.
Oh, baggers.
Zoe is going to advance to the other side of that main airlock entrance, as far as she can get, which means let's have a think about this. All she can see from there is a dead body.
When you helped cause it, it's a beautiful sight.
All right, hang on a second. I'm going to make a decision using dice because I think it's only fair that Zoe has some randomness in her actions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay. Zoe is going to try to throw a grenade into the directly in front of her, basically directly north of her, up to that junction for turning right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
in the theory that it might do some good. You never know.
Yeah, I like it. I like the thinking.
Oh, that's good. Okay. There is an explosion just around that corner, or just on the corner, more or less, right up at the wall directly to the north of Zoe. If you follow the line straight up to the north until you hit the wall, that's pretty much where the explosion is. Just a little bit over to the right, slightly around the corner, and that's it. You have no indication as to whether it did anything, of course, but that's where she threw it.
That's very exciting. We didn't see a body come flinging out like an old episode of the A-Team over the top of something. Whoa!
No, I'm afraid definitely not. Sorry about that.
That's quite disappointing, it must be said.
Okay. And then that leads to Rack's move. Rack has been told about the person to the east of him. So he's going to pop out of cover slightly, just heading to the north slightly. And he's going to take a shot. Yeah. All right. That's all right.
God.
Okay. That's a comfortable hit with +2 on 4D damage. 5, 10 +2 is 12. Okay, he lands a hit, but the hit doesn't appear to punch through the protective armored suit. So he ducks back behind cover to avoid any return fire. Okay, and that's him done.
Very strategic.
Jax. Okay, Jax can go. She's going to throw herself up a decent distance. To there, but in order to do so, that means that's her only movement. When she gets there, she can't see anything to shoot at anyway. Okay.
She needed to make that big move, to be honest. She was a long way back.
Which means it's time for the boys in red.
Uh-oh, the bad is the red scare.
So let's start with the one close to Agnar.
Thanks, Luke, for your confidence. You chat.
The figure pops out and takes a shot.
Agnar's busy looking over his shoulder at the resplendent rack popping out from cover, taking a shot, popping back. He imagines that if he didn't have his helmet on, his fine Varga coat would be blowing in the wind in a slow motion shot.
It's a hit, but it is absolutely on the line. It's dead 8. So
I think Agnar plays himself down a bit, Spez. He's a handsome man. He's a handsome Varga himself, and he's got maturity on his side.
The total damage is 12. Against which, obviously, you can take your armor.
Yes, which takes all of it.
Hooray!
Wow.
He's back.
He survived.
Yes.
So far. Touch wood.
Okay.
He's all right. Agner's all right, everyone, importantly. There was a lot of fear in the chat, though, it must be said.
He is, to be fair, he is the most armoured up, I think, of the group.
He's the much loved. Much loved. Where's hang on. when the guy takes a shot and it's shot well, and Agnar looks down at the armor, and the guy thinks he's got him, and he staggers back, and then he looks back up. He looks back up again, and he goes, "One more thing."
It was absorbed by the armor, and then the figure makes a run to the east with remaining movement.
Thanks for the boon, Mr. Leno.
Agnar's got 2 boons now, Ewan, just so you're aware.
Thanks. He's definitely going to use one.
Okay. Then we have.
I love it that the kitten's invested. I always get nervous when I'm fired upon, though. It is horrible because Traveller is very deadly.
Indeed.
What is Agnar's armor?
It's 18 in
18. You see, he's a tank. Although if someone rolls well, you can get through that.
Yes, it is definitely beatable.
Kara's is the bad armor. Hers is only 10. That's why I try and keep her out of direct sunlight. it's so thin; she'd get sunburnt for it.
Okay. What?
Oh, I just died in
I'm
your
trying to think about how to
arms
describe
tonight.
this. Okay. Agnar is no longer in direct line of sight for the person who was just round the corner, who has now fled around the corner, and you can't see them. However, Agnar, you do notice a fraction of a second later, even as the the sound of the gunshots is still echoing, a grenade come flying down past that side and land basically against the wall to your left.
Wonderful.
A 9 damage. Don't often end up doing grenade damage. Here we go. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's a total of 21 damage caused by the explosion. So the excess will have to come off your endurance, I'm afraid.
Yep, no worries. Switch is 3. Cool.
Okay. Then what do we have here? Okay. Okay. The person in the alcove is going to back away a little bit to buy a little bit of space, and then take a shot at Rack, who's got partial cover.
The problem with Rack is he's so resplendent that he gives off a glow that sort of tells people where he is.
And he's got a side quest for them as well.
Yeah. What is that glowing light? What are you buying?
Okay, that's very much a clean miss. Even without the cover, that was comfortably a miss. Okay, and we got one more to do.
What? Oh no.
There is a person who pops out round the corner of the area in front. This person is quite clearly wearing some very custom fitted armor and very high quality kit, expensively equipped. And she, for it is a she, is going to take a shot
Lara.
at Zoe.
Don't you hurt my Zoe.
She rolled a 2.
That's good.
But she still hits.
Yeah, because of all her pluses she gets and her weapon.
No, actually, she doesn't. She just misses. She needed to roll a 3.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Really? Yeah, she actually needed a 3 in order to hit.
I joked about it, but
her gun combat skills have got to be good. But then so is what's her name has to be as well, Jax, because she rolled very well on a low roll. My goodness, we're playing with
Jax
the big.
Had a very high roll.
We're playing with the big boys and big girls now, Ewan.
Yeah, Jax rolled an 11.
Okay, that helped.
So yeah, it does help. Okay, having missed her shot, she's going to move again, but stay in view. I think she wants to keep an eye on things. Okay, that's them done. So, Soraya.
Finally, I get to try this guided carbine out. Oh, it's been a lot of turns. It's it better be exciting, Ben.
Don't forget you've got a boon as well, just in case you want to.
Well, yeah, talk me through this, Ben. If I want to take aim at probably the leader person, the leader lady,
right?
Who I'm assuming is Lara. It might not be Lara though. But what is the deal?
Okay, so let's start with the basics.
Yes.
You can aim to get your +1.
Yep.
Assuming you're happy to not move or anything.
Yep, I'm lying down, very comfy.
Right. So you take your +1. You then get to automatically add another +1 because it's a +1 weapon base.
Yep.
What is your slug skill?
+1.
Okay, then in that case, you don't get any other benefit from the weapon itself until you're using the targeting function.
Yes, please.
So the targeting function, and let's.
But do I get +1 for my slug skills as well, like I normally would?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm up to 3. Okay, that's good.
So that's that's a total of 3 at that point. And then you can take a look here. Okay, so okay, you get another +1 from the smart trait.
Cool. 4.
So that's +4.
Because I'm smart or the weapon's smart?
Because the weapon's smart.
No.
You get no pluses for you being smart.
Oh, the weapon's smarter than me. Okay, I want +4.
Tech level of armor, you get the tech level of the armor is that she's wearing is 13.
Mm-hmm.
So you get another +2 on top of that. So that's
okay,
6.
Oh, this is like being Stefan last week.
Now then, broadly speaking, you can then fire a burst to gain another +4.
Yeah.
Which will use 4 rounds rather than 1.
Yeah.
But obviously gives you +4 to damage, but not to hit.
Yeah. Okay, so
for some extra
So it's +6 to hit, and it would be +4 to my damage.
And +4 to your damage after that,
Yep.
if you want to use burst mode.
Let's use that. I can't take it with me, can I? I can't take the ammo with me. It's there. Got to use
Absolutely. So effectively, you add up totally to, was that +6?
So it's +6 for my shot and +4 to the damage.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
I'll probably have because I think it's difficult to fail a shot when you've got +6. Okay, here we go. Oh, they're warm, they're sweaty. Nice sweaty dice, that's what you need. Okay, that's good. That's 5 and a 3, it's an 8. +6 is a 14. 14 on the shot.
14. 14 hits gives you +6, +4, so +10 total.
Cool. And what's my dice for the... So +14. What's my...
It does 4D.
4D, yeah.
+14.
4D +14. Come on! Good. That's the best I've ever had on a weapon of mine.
That is pretty good.
I'm not a bruiser like some of these others. I'm like a pinpoint needle. Okay, what we got? +14. We have got 9, 10, 15, +14. Did you say? 29.
29. Okay. The armor that she is wearing is pretty tough stuff. And despite that, you're just cacophony of high velocity Gauss rounds tears a sort of fist-sized hole through the middle of it. And she immediately drops. Not dead, but down.
That's lovely. Soraya will sort of look down at the gun with like a whew. Like a smile on her face. Oh yeah, I like this.
Right,
Not too bad, eh?
Yeah. Glad we got it.
Okay. So yeah, that's Soraya. Sammy is next. Well, Sammy can't actually see anything except the same target, so she's going to aim and shoot.
Go on, Sammy.
I mean, why not? That's an 8 rolled.
She's a good girl, Sammy. I like her.
And yeah, she's using one of the non-smart Gauss weapons.
Yeah.
Is this one still smarter than Soraya or not?
Oh, it's much smarter than Soraya. It's just not smart.
Everyone's smarter than Soraya. Feels like a Disney song. Everybody's smarter than Soraya.
Well, although to be fair, I think Soraya's. I mean, she's definitely smarter than my two, but possibly the smartest out of.
She's
the
got
PCs.
intellect 9, Soraya. That's okay. That's above average. She's got above average intellect.
You know how
she's
Sammy,
proving herself now. I'm quite smart, actually.
Not being all that brilliant at everything, suddenly seems to have this amazing combat record.
Yeah.
She didn't get she got a hit, but it wasn't by very much. But it turns out, thanks to the damage roll, which only just beats the woman's armor, it was in fact enough to take away her last few points.
Sammy gets a confirmed kill for Sammy. Sammy Cress. This is why she's the legend. Ship's legend.
That is, well, frankly, disturbing.
Geological scientist Sammy Cress.
Wow. There you go. Okay.
She's gone.
With that done, next we have Agnar.
Right, Agnar will. Bearing in mind Agnar's left-handed, Ben, would you say that he'd have line of sight if he was to move 1 square north on the dot that I don't suppose he would know, would he?
If he were to move sort of one northeast up to the corner,
Yeah,
then he'd probably be able to poke round it.
Great
yeah,
work.
he will do that.
That's excellent.
Please.
We can do that. And immediately he sees the person who was running away from him and another person from that vantage point. So, what's your call?
He's going to shoot at the person closest to him.
Okay. So he's using his shotgun.
Yeah, he certainly is.
And this is with the armor-piercing ammunition, yeah?
Yeah, I've got armor-piercing 6 written down on my sheet, assuming that's correct.
Yes, that is.
He's going to use a Bane. Thank you very much, whoever gave me my first Bane.
Boone?
Boone.
Don't-
Boone. He's not going to use a Bane. No, take back, cease.
Okay, he's going to take his boon.
But he's moved. So
It does feel like an important shot, to be honest.
it's pretty good. Well, it's okay. It's 7 plus 4. No, sorry, 3.
7 plus 3 is a 10.
It's a slump.
Okay. That is a hit with a +2 damage. So you get to... the armor will be relevant because this is an armored target. So roll the damage for your AP. And then you can add +6 to it and +2 to it. So +8.
Ooh. Right, okay. That's 28 in total.
We're doing big damage today, boys. Big damage.
17, 18, yeah.
That's just 28. Of course it is.
Well, the +6 helped, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a whole extra dice. That rolled a 6.
Yeah. It's like 2 average dice that rolled a 3.
Okay.
each.
That person is... Well, let me put it this way. The armor-piercing round went in through the back of the person, and this very fine mist of exploding person flew out the other side of them, completely redecorating the front of the person in front of them with a fine mist of former person.
Harsh.
Okay.
Can he then...
You've still got some movement.
Yeah, has he got 2 diagonals left, essentially?
Yes, actually, he has.
Well... I tell you what, he will... Sorry, I should have been thinking about this.
You just got excited by the visual imagery.
Yeah, it was lovely. in a horrific way, it was lovely. Let's do it. He'll move 2 squares diagonally north and to the east, please.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully at least this way he won't get a grenade thrown at him.
I take your point. Yes.
To be fair, I wouldn't want to be the other guy right now. He's just come around the corner, just been sprayed in blood from the colleague all over him, and an angry, advancing Varga is marching towards you with an armor-piercing shotgun in hand.
Absolutely. Right. Zoe is going to charge up as far as she can, irritated that she hasn't got a kill yet.
Yeah, she's quite competitive about that.
Now, I'm looking at the angle. I think she's got a shot at the person in that corridor, but it's a bit covered. So she's going to take a shot. That's more like it.
No, I'm sorry.
11 plus 6 plus is 17 plus 3 is 20 to hit, minus what's the cover bonus? I've forgotten that. Minus 2 is 18. So she's got D4 plus 10 damage.
Oh, nice.
That's 9. And 9 is 18. Plus 10 is 28.
My goodness, we're a brutal team today.
Plus 4 for the burst, of course. So that's actually 32. So yes, that is, enough. Yeah, that's very much enough. And the potential threat to Telon Rack around that corner is dealt with. Which leaves Amelia Jack's next. Sorry, Rack next. He can see around the corner, so he knows there's no threat, except possibly the bottom left corner of that little alcove.
Oh yeah, of course, no one's had eyes on that.
Yeah.
He's going to take a chance on the basis if he thinks if there's someone who'd been there, they'd have popped out and shot at someone by now.
Oh. That's what many years as a sergeant teaches you.
Yeah. If he uses his full movement, he can actually get basically to there, to the corner.
Ooh.
On the opposite side.
Very nice.
So potentially that's a useful position for him to be in. He can't do anything else other than move this turn, of course, but he can at least do that. So I think you've got someone cornered.
Oh no.
Okay. Now Jax. She's no longer worried about anything to the left. The only thing she's thinking is to the right.
Yes. I thought that was something just appearing there, but it was a bit on your screen. I was like, it's a big scary person with an X on them. Oh no. That's the big bad. It's Fess. Fess is back.
So she's going to not move all that far. What she's going to do, this may not prove to be the most efficient use of her, but it's what she's going to do anyway. She's going to move to the point where she's got at least some view down there. She can't see anything, so she might as well continue. She's obviously concerned if there's someone else hiding to the north as well, but well, you only live once, don't you?
Yeah. Do. Which is why you should be cautious in combat.
She can basically get to about there, so that's what she's going to do. And from that position, she can see a little way down the corridor to the right, and she can't see anyone.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's her handled. Soraya is not next because the others get to move first.
Oh, the others. Make it sound so ominous.
The
others.
Okay. Right, I'm going to roll a quick perception check for the person in the western part.
Okay.
Okay. Right. 10 plus 2. see if we roll under intellect. Oh, okay. The action of the person in the to the right of Agnar and to the north of Rak is to throw the weapon to the ground that they're holding, put their hands, clearly and firmly above their heads, and yell out loudly so you can hear through their suit, surrender, surrender. And it's a female voice you hear. Okay. And then who else gets to move?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd probably try and surrender as well if I was covered, caked in the blood of a friend. I'd just been sitting eating a bowl of cereal with, just chatting about the day.
Okay. That's.
So we're very rare, Kelly. It's very rare that we do combat. So when we do, we go for the brutality.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure this is the person that grenaded Agnar.
Oh, oh no! Are we going to see?
You know,
Are we going to see the other side? We can see the other side of Agnar, are we?
Okay. So
the dark side.
We have. One person who can get into a shooting position and is actually going to shoot. And this person is going to take a shot at Jax. Well, that's not bad. 6.
I don't want Jax to die. I've been spending the whole time waiting to point at the big cover and shout, "Basement, Jax!"
Oh, God.
Don't die on me now, Jax. I need that.
Don't worry, guys. We'll check his medication at some point. We'll be fine.
It's because I'm not drinking. It brings out the worst of me not drinking.
Okay, that's a total of 9 to hit, counting the cover, because it was 11. So that's a hit with a +1. 4, 5, 9 +2 is 11, +1 is 12, plus 5, a total of 17. Yeah, enough to to cause moderate damage to Jax. It's not horrendous, not instantly fatal or anything like that, but it's gonna hurt. Agnar's on -3, isn't he?
Yes, he is indeed.
Okay. All right. So taking a hit, it's not going to be comfortable for her for a while, but she's alive. Right, and
in this day and age.
That means the next person to have a go is Soraya.
And I know we are in the middle of the list and the middle of combat, but I really need a wee. Can we take a break and a toast?
We absolutely can. Let's let's do that. We'll come back with Soraya, Sammy, and Agnar.
Perfect. Right, we're going to do our break, everyone. Do a break. Go have a toilet. Treat yourself. Get a drink or something. Breath of fresh air, and we'll be back for the all-important toast. The most important thing, of course, and then just a bit of combat after that. Yeah, so
Someone remind me when we're back that this person's surrendered.
you will
My memory's
forget.
pretty bad.
Oh, you
Don't
totally
wanna
will
be too
go.
brutal.
Yeah, whatever. Where's the advert? There's the break. What break? There's that break. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Let's put some music on. There we go. Hang on, there we go. Music. Let's turn that off. Some music. Right. Well, guys, see you in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, guys. We can. It's up to you. Love you. Bye.
another one. So I can do that. And then in a second or two, we'll have Grey Hill up.
There we go. I let he won't know this yet, but I let Ben's audio go then, because it's normally me having to talk through all the problems I'm making. So it was a nice change up for once. People have Ben's thought process.
I was so focused on the map, I completely forgot to set up the thing.
Good evening, welcome back to the second half of Boys in the Baltic Star. Sadly, there are no mushroom gods to defeat here, but we have done our own amount of defeating. But before we go on to more of such things, we've got two very important things to do. So I'll hand over to both of my erstwhile legendary companions. We start with you, Ewan?
Yeah, if that's all right.
Please do.
Why not? Luckily for those of us who have to leave pretty sharpish, I haven't got some ridiculously over-the-top, self-indulgent toast this week, because I tend to alternate so I don't run out of content. For those who don't know, at this point in the evening, we raise a glass and remember our barman, our shipmate, comrade Grey Hill Bast, who, as I alluded to slightly earlier in today's episode, we took on a mission with us, and he didn't make it back. He was a fine man. He was a fine member of the Baltic Star. So at this point, I would like to ask us all to raise our glasses to the late, great Grey Hill Bast.
Grey Hill Bast.
Great Grey Hill Bast.
And without further ado, Ben.
Right. So.
Yes. Well done.
Best from Sparrow. Meanwhile, on the Baltic Star, Caboodle wandered into her stateroom, finding it empty. She took a few mouthfuls of food from the bowl in the corner, stared at the water for several minutes before deciding she didn't need any, and set off on patrol again. But suddenly, she stopped. So suddenly that one paw was in the air, mid-stride. Something had caught her eye. On the floor, in the middle of the room, was a rectangle. A box just marked on the floor. She stalked across to examine it. Her senses were quite acute, so she could actually smell the tape as being slightly distinct from the floor. But there wasn't much difference, really. It was simply a rectangle marked on the floor in tape. What purpose it might serve was clearly beyond Caboodle's understanding, but she knew a few things about the way humans functioned. If there was a box, it marked something important. Important things were visited, attended to. Something really interesting to the humans must be inside this box, even though, to the kitten, there was no reason to consider the floor inside the rectangle as different from the floor outside. Cats, however, think in different directions. The contents of the box must be important. Cats are important, so the box must contain a cat. A second later it did. Caboodle stepped inside and sat facing the door, waiting for the inevitable human to come and recognize the supremacy of the cat and, at the very least, fuss with her a bit in the process of moving her out of the way of their important work. Kronsorama peered into Rose's room through the slightly ajar door, as he usually did whenever he passed, noticing the cat in the middle of the floor. It seemed to him that somehow Axis had begun to understand the cat. Presumably this must imply a deep character defect in the chief engineer.
Oh, she's left a box out for her. Good. Oh, I like that Kron and Axis have basically become like they got a little fur baby between the two of them now. It seems they're like mummy and daddy on there. Oh, lovely, beautiful.
It does definitely seem that way. I like it.
Good work. Well, thank you, Spez, for picking it.
Indeed.
Nice bit of levity in amongst all the killing and murder.
Well, thank you, Sparrow. It's always fun to mix things up a bit, isn't it? Not everything has to be about death and brunch.
Your game cancelled?
Oh no.
Oh, get it. No, oh no. Oh, yay!
Yes, for us, because we get to keep Sparrow.
Yes.
Oh no, for Sparrow, because she has to put up with us.
It's okay, Sparrow, because, mate, you know what? You get to play with us tomorrow, bruv, don't you? So it's all good.
That is true. It's very true.
Okay.
Some pigs.
You're too cranky for this game. You never.
Yeah, you're never too cranky. This is
Okay.
my face when I found out that Sparrow's game had been cancelled. Okay. Oh, it's Soraya's go. Right. Soraya's got a lot to think about in this turn. Soraya doesn't have death wishes, but she also is a bit excited with the gun. So four in a straight line is small movement, isn't it? Regular movement.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of kerfuffles. Do I have anything fun? Let's have a look. No. Oh, I've got 2 glass beer mats. I could smash them. No, I kept them in the ship. That's too important. Got my geeker cap. No, that's not useful enough. Not for this moment. Okay. I am going to... Oh, that person is in a really annoying position. 1, 2, 3. So I could go 12, right? 1,
You can
2,
go up to
3,
12
4,
if you do
5,
nothing
6,
but run.
7,
Yeah.
8, 9, 10. Oh, it depends if there's anyone in that big room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This does set Sarah up for danger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Is danger my middle name, Ewan? That's the question. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. No, it's not. I'm a coward, really. Okay, I'll go. Does standing up take a minor action though?
No, not really.
Oh, cool.
It's essentially it depends on the circumstances. In this case, you've had plenty of time to recover and to prepare for your next move. So we'll count it as a free action.
That's good. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
The same way you would, opening a door or whatever.
Oh, I don't open many doors. I'd use explosives to open doors.
I noticed that.
I'll 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll pop in just behind Zoe.
Just south of Zoe or just north of Zoe?
Just south of Zoe for now. I'm planning for the next turn, if that makes sense, instead. So I'll pop in behind and just ready myself, prone myself again, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay,
no.
we will do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so with Soraya done, it's Sammy's turn. Sammy, I feel, doesn't want to be left completely out of the action, but she's not in any urgent hurry to put herself in main peril.
She's already the MVP. She's got nothing to prove, Ben. Nothing to prove at all.
So what she's going to do is basically move to roughly where Soraya was, and then use that position to cover the room to the north in case anything pokes its head out.
Pops out, yep. I like it. Like a cat out of a box.
And then we have Agnar.
Agnar, do you remember before the break they threw their weapon down and surrendered?
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I had remembered, but
makes the killing easier.
9 times out of 10 I wouldn't. Agnar will move towards her with his shotgun still up, and he'll get right next to her, I suppose, and just say, "Okay, let's keep it moving then, and we'll keep this civil." And I don't know how many spaces that is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 7 spaces to actually get to her.
Cool. Can I use the rest of my movement with her to sort of walk her down that
I don't see why not. Probably not at full pace, though. I'm tempted to say you could move a couple more spaces.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and just start heading down south towards Rack. But Agnar won't be directly behind her. He'll sort of, make it clear so Rack doesn't think she's just walking down the corridor.
That'd be unfortunate.
Just in case he didn't hear.
Oh no!
That would be really unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But just so he knows that Agnar's got, or we've got this under control, I suppose.
Yeah.
There was no threat.
Firmly grabbing the collar of the of the captive. Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
And that's his turn.
That is okay, and that means it's Zoe's turn next. So, what to do if you're Zoe? Got Soraya behind her, who can cover the north. Sammy's behind her, who can cover the north. A wounded but functional Jax, who can cover north or east. She's going to risk it.
That's very Zoe.
Head up to the corner and take a shot at the person to her right. Okay. That's an 8 plus 6 is 14 plus 2 minus 2 is 12, so plus 4. Okay. That's lousy. 7, 10 plus 4 is 14. Okay. It hits, but it seems to be mostly a glancing blow, mostly absorbed by the armor.
Cool.
Okay. And that means we're on to Jax. Sorry, Rack. So Rack. He is going to glance across and see that Agnar's got this. And from where he is, he can also see that Jax was injured. So he's going to run that way.
Agnar waves at him. Hello.
Agnar gets a bit despondent that he's just run away from Agnar as he came round the corner with a prisoner. Is it something I did?
Is he like?
No, he's got enough time to a little bit of extra movement there to sort of stick a quick thumbs up to Agnar as he comes off.
Cool.
Agnar bringing the enemy like a cat would bring a dead bird, just to show off. Look what I've got.
I got your prezi. He runs over to Jax and quickly checks that she's okay, and she indicates that she's got a she's all right. She's reasonably comfortable. just thinking. Jax is not necessarily a person with much in the way of self-preservation.
No,
So she's going to run to the corner to the northeast of her, and she's going to have a shot.
It's that kind of NPC.
Yeah. 5 plus
definitely
6,
plays to her character.
8. Okay, she gets plus 2, 10. So she gets a +2 on the shot. $16. Okay. It's another hit that seems to do some damage, but not critical damage again.
Critical.
But you guys are basically slowly whittling this person down. Right.
Like a woodsman.
Which means it is the person's turn. Okay. The question is, does she take the easier shot at Jax or the harder one at Zoe? She's going to try Zoe. That's all right. 7, 9, 7, 8. A total of 9 for +1. 6 is 12. 13 is absorbed by Zoe's armor. She's got a move she can take as well. So if you're her, which way do you run? Okay. Yeah. All right. She is going to run down to, away and down to the right somewhere. And then you got a pretty good idea where she was heading, but she's now out of sight. Okay?
That makes a lot of sense.
So, next up, we have Soraya.
What I would very much like to do, it's a shame that she moved. I had visions, but that's okay. We'll do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd like to go 3 diagonally to the west, upwards, please, which puts me level with Rack, doesn't it? 2 across from Rack.
Yes, it does.
And then 4 north from there, please.
Okay.
I've got 1 sort of minor movement / thing I can do after that. So as I approach there, do I notice any moving at that point?
You get to that position. No, you can't see anyone from where you are.
The dead body's on the floor, isn't it? No, or did she drag herself around the corner?
No, you. If you want me to show you where that is,
please do.
The person with the very smart-looking sort of special armor is right there.
Cool. I'll go diagonally 2 over to that body, and because I can't see what it is, she's just going to try and get down low next to that body briefly. She sort of slide into that corner next to the body.
Into the corner immediately to the south, basically.
Yeah, just like right where she can do a little bit of cowering if need be.
Okay.
Because she's brave-ish, but still a bit cowardly. She's part of the Self-Preservation Society.
It's essentially she's looking for a locker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very brave being in a locker because it gives
Brave to tuck herself into a locker.
it gives the opponent a chance to regroup and strengthen. Yeah, exactly right. You know, yeah, good. I'm
Excellent.
glad.
Yeah. It's Sammy's turn. She's not going to move from there. She's comfortable with her position covering. She's still nervous about what might be to the north. And that leaves Agnar's turn.
Can Agnar continue walking the person down to the south? As they go, can he say to her, how many of you are there? What are your numbers?
Yeah, he can certainly ask,
and then he'll use his movement just to follow in Rack's footsteps, I guess.
Okay, all right. So we'll do that. Under the circumstances, roll a persuade check for me, please.
Oh, go on then. Can I use my my other boon?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Ah, good stuff.
Why not? Oh, that is a good boon. Depending on the dice, obviously, but I'm going to say that's a very good boon. That's 2 6s and a 1.
Yeah.
His persuade is -3, however.
Okay, so that's a 9 total.
To a more reasonable 9.
You can add intellect or social to that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's 2 from social.
Okay, so a total of 11. The person is at least psychologically quite defeated, and after a sort of brief moment of thought, says, there are 7 of us.
1, 2, 3. You've had 3 on that side, haven't you?
Yeah. 2 up the top, 1 down in the alcove.
3. 1 as we came in. That's 4. Leader woman 5. This one round the corner 6. Have we missed one?
Can Agnar? I'm not entirely sure how the communicators work, but seeing as he's sort of like using both of his hands, I kind of envision that we've got an open channel sort of when we're in combat like this, perhaps. But he'd like to communicate to everyone and just say there's 7. There's 7
back from the dead.
Total.
Oh, the one upstairs.
What I've done is to reveal all the ones that any of your party members currently have eyes on.
Yes, of course.
So
yeah.
So all of those are dead, and someone can see them dead.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The one you killed at the top, obliterated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is dead, but not visible to you. So I haven't.
Yeah. And then round the corner is the 7th one. Yeah. So that suggests that's the only one left. If they're telling the truth.
If they're telling the truth.
If.
Yes, and that is all Agnar wishes to do.
Okay. We then have the top of the order. It is Zoe's turn. Well, fuck it. She's going to go chasing.
That's very Zoe. Very Zoe. She's like Neo. She can stop bullets anyway, just with her hand.
She's actually going to go northeast, which means she won't get the benefit of cover. But in case there is someone to the north, they won't have a line of shot onto her. And when she gets there, she can indeed see the person lurking behind a bit of a sort of locker.
Let's get down there. Get me down
the cave wall.
Find a locker.
So she'll take a shot. That's a 7 plus 6 is 13. Plus 4. No, not plus 4. Minus 2 is 11. Plus 2 is 13. So 13 total, and she's got so that's plus 5, isn't it? Yeah. 6. And 6 is 12 plus 5 is 17 plus 4 is 21. Okay. 21. You know what? That would not have been enough if it hadn't been for the fact that she's already taken a couple of wounds. But with those couple of wounds, that is enough to kill the person, who drops cleanly dead to the ground. I say dead, unconscious to the ground. And with that done, you'll be delighted to say, cleared out Morse's pit.
Morse's pit is clear. What does it look like, Ben? What's the decor like?
It is.
Everyone wants to know.
It was fundamentally very, very rough and ready to begin with, and then a gang of bandits who weren't the most civilized of residents moved in. It is pretty wrecked in there. The good news is there's only so much damage you can do to bare rock walls.
So it's not full of soft furnishings and drapes and things like that, then?
It really isn't. No, it's the actual floor has been cut very, very smooth and flat. The walls not so much. They're not horribly rocky, but they are pretty basic, pretty rough and ready. Usefully, there are little alcoves and shelves and seating cut into them for people.
That's lovely.
Just to make it more usable as a mine facility for people who worked here. But that's about all you've got there, I'm afraid.
It's all stone.
It's pretty much all bare stone, bit of dust. Yeah, that's what you got here.
Not gonna be good for old Agnar's hemorrhoids.
However, Rack is looking around with a big beaming smile and sort of thoroughly enjoying the fact that he's a homeowner.
Yes. Sparrow wants to see if we can have some holographic tarpaulins hanging around.
I don't see why not. I mean, they'll have to be added, you understand, but why not?
Why not indeed? I like it. I think it's well worth the 800. So I was up by the downed orange person. Is there any way I can rifle through belongings? Have they got anything on them? Sort of card, ID?
Certainly. Make an investigation check.
I will.
And you can use intellect for this.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Okay. Goodness sake. It's a 8 minus 1 plus 1.
Okay. There is a variety of stuff. An electronic communication device, of course, as pretty much everybody has one of those. Um, a fairly smart-looking, clearly custom Gauss carbine,
Mhm.
which she had with her when she died. She's also got a fairly impressive looking pistol of some kind, but the exact model of it isn't familiar. Other than that, a few data chips and currency chips and things like that. Nothing particularly novel.
Okay. Well, now that we're putting together an armory on the ship so that people can run past and Rose can hand them out a weapon as they go into battle, if we get boarded by pirates.
You need one.
Of course you do. It's all military places have that. Can she sling that Gauss carbine over her shoulder and stash the pistol to add to the group loving?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm guessing the currency isn't worth counting.
If you'd like to know,
Yes, please.
um, okay. The value on the chips added together, because there are a number of them, but added all together is about 55,000 credits.
Oh. Cool, it's good to know. Does the comms device have? Is it easy to get in, or is it going to need some kind of hacking?
It's password protected.
Okay, so I'll pocket that ready to give to Kara when we get back together again, I guess. So have a go at that. Cool. And Sarai will shout over her shoulder as Agnar brings the prisoner down. She'll shout, "Who is this then? Who's this?"
The prisoner looks across and says, "It's Lara."
Lara, the one that everyone's scared of in town.
I guess.
Look at me. Look at me. I'm your boss now. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking, mate. I'm joking. I'm not really. I can barely look after myself.
And I'll say that's true, actually.
It's Kara. That's good. It's Kara. Good. She'll say to the guy, or the girl, sorry, the woman. She'll say, "There's not a bounty on her head, is there?"
She shrugs.
So I'll take loads of pictures of dead. Not like a game hunter. I'm not gonna like pose over her or anything, but make it very obvious that this person is dead, if that makes sense, so we can show people back if need be.
Okay.
Cool, and that's all Sarai needs to do for now.
All right.
The last thing she would actually, she'll come down with all the data chips and says, and the guy, and she'll say, "Looks like I've got more stuff for the ship." And she waves the data chips and she'll say, "And more for our central kitty." But then she'll walk up quietly to Sammy and hand her one of the data chips. Does one of the data chips have maybe like 10,000 or something similar about that sort of money on it?
Sure, for our purposes,
Thank
why
you.
not?
She'll slip her that and say, "You're the one that killed her."
Oh my God, you are treating it like a hunting trophy.
Cool.
Agnar will look at Rack and he'll say, "What should we? What do you want to do with this one? Was there a bounty out on Lara?"
She looks helplessly at you. She doesn't know, but and Rack doesn't know either. But there is a sort of brief moment where Jack, sort of still wincing a little bit sore from the injury, walks over and says, "I'm fine, everyone. I'm absolutely fine.
If only we had
I'm
a
just going to
medic.
need a little bit of blood transfusion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Agnar will say, I'm sorry. I saw Rack run past you, and I assumed you're okay. Have you been hit? Do you want some medical attention?
If you've got a med kit, that would be just great.
I have. He goes to hand her a med kit, and then I'm only joking. He'll start seeing to her wound.
Okay. First aid check. So your medic skill plus the first aid bonus if you're using a bonus med kit.
Can I? I know we're out of combat now. Can I still use one of our combat boons or not?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's a skill check. Sure.
Sorry, Luke. I sort of made the decision that I was going to do it anyway, because otherwise they're kind of we're not going to use them. That's an 11 plus 3, I think, for medic. Let me check. Yeah.
11 plus 3 was that?
Yeah. So 14.
So 14. Okay. That is in fact enough to patch her right up. She is healed. Can you roll 1d6 for me, please?
Yes. That's a 2.
Okay. That process takes about 20 minutes, during which time she loudly and pointedly says, yeah, I'm just going to need a blood transfusion as well, but I think our captive there has the same blood type as me, so I'll just need 12 or 14 pints.
Oh, she's brutal. She's vicious.
Yeah, she's good at dealing with prisoners.
Agnar will say, well, actually, I don't think any of us are trained to draw blood from anyone, but Sarai is, she's kind of a jack of all trades. I'm sure she could do an okay job.
Sarai sort of pulls out.
Just trying to add to the.
Yeah, she sort of walks over to the woman, and she sort of starts poking around a bit on the person sort of under sort of where their neck would be. So I guess we're all in oxygen, aren't we? Because the air's bad, but poking around sort of under the chin, on the arm. And so I know one of these places I can get blood, but the other one's not great. The blood will come a bit too quickly.
Rack is sort of leaning resplendently against a wall with his arms folded, and he says, I don't know about you guys, but literally the only thing Jax and I are qualified to do is remove blood from people.
I don't know. I don't know if our friend here would be happy about that. I'm sure she wants to keep some of it for herself. There must be something you can give us instead of your blood.
Can you roll a persuade check for me with Boone, please? And intellect or social.
Yes, I can.
Starts to feel a bit bad that he didn't just tell her to run.
+2 and a Boone. Okay, that's good. Absolutely fine. Should be anyway, unless she's very smart. It comes up as a 9 + 2 is an 11.
Okay. She says, we've got a hiding place. It's in that room to the north with the big mine shaft entrance. There's a false top to the mine cover, which we put on over the real one, so we could hide our stuff in there. Whatever we've got, it's in there. I don't know what's there right now, but whatever we've got is in there. And as long as you guys don't, do anything brutal, it's yours.
Well, we are quite brutal.
Yeah, you've got this woman on toast in terms of her psychology, I think. One other thing you notice as you go around checking the personal possessions and things, there are a few other weapons you can collect, but they're all pretty basic. Nothing custom the way Lara's weapon was.
So I've made a note that we'll take Lara's custom Gauss carbine and Lara's fancy pistol. That's okay.
Yeah. The others, though they do have some spending money, it really is, 25 creds here and 10 creds there. It's really nothing. But you do notice that every single one of them, including the one at the gun mount up top, is female. Lara's band was
All female.
exclusively female humans.
Ah. Exclusively female. You don't mind opening that false lid up for us, do you?
She walks up there and she sort of looks at it for a moment and reaches her fingers out, and she looks a bit scared. Her hands are shaking, and she does seem to sort of push a piece a little way back before lifting the lid open. And inside there is indeed a hidey space. And she backs away as far as she can in the enclosed space.
Wow. You opened that so professionally. Thank you. I feel none of us could have opened it as well as you.
That was a very good shout, Luke.
Oh. Bunch of bandits.
Was a very good shout. It's an irritatingly good shout.
Ben was playing it so cool as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's broken. There's a hiding place. Has she opened it widely that we can see him without having to poke too much around?
Yeah. If you want to do an investigation check on the space, you can happily do so.
Can more than one of us roll to see who spots the best?
We can make it a task chain if you like.
Yeah. Should we do that? Are you happy with that, Ewan?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
So who's up for this?
Investigate, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Agnar will. He's got one investigate.
Okay.
I've got a -1, but I'm also living on a boon from early in the day.
Okay.
So I might as well use that. Yeah, so I'll do it with that.
Okay. So Agnar, roll yours for assist with a +1. You can use your intellect for this.
Would I mean, I know I always do this, Ben, but would social be
What?
It's kind of a
I think if anything,
saying to the hidey hole, do you know who I am?
Might be a disadvantage.
No, not my social, but social behaviour, people's social behaviour in where they store things.
I mean, you might actually have a case if this was in a very upmarket sort of environment.
Yeah,
knowing that a particular design of armoire often has a false back or something. Sure, this is not that kind of place.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you'll be able to find any nice whiskey that's in there.
Okay, that's an 8 + 1.
An 8 + 1. Okay. So that will give you a +1 for yours, Luke, and you've got a boon, of course.
Okay, then. If he can't use his social because he's too posh...
You're going to try and do philosophy, aren't you?
No, because I'm not Kara, sadly. I wish I could, but Kara's outside. So Raya's social is very low because this is exactly the sort of place and people that she spent her life in.
How low?
4.
4. I mean, I feel like I walked myself into this one.
Oh, poor Ben.
It's been a frustrating 5 minutes for Ben.
It's been a tough day so far. day's only 2 hours old. It's already been a nightmare. Okay. We will. I'll give you a +1 for that instead of your intellect.
No, I'll use my intellect instead. Cool.
Okay.
That's a plus. That's also a plus
I mean,
one.
it's 4 less than 8.
I just wanted to see what you would do.
+4, surely.
I just wanted to see.
No, to be fair, that was very reasonable of Ben.
It was. I did read on.
Entertain the idea.
So I got a +1, -1, so I'm
Yep.
rolling flat with a boon. Part of the reason why I did that was just as an aside, which people may not find interesting, but they might. There's a Facebook traveller group which me and Ewan are both part of, where they were talking about social skills this week actually, and about the confusion because it doesn't necessarily social skills is quite. It's archaic in some ways, in that a high social skill. You're right. Agnar could walk into a white tie dinner and schmooze anyone through his social skills, but it wouldn't necessarily be great, as you showed here, Ben, in a space of hive of
Yeah.
skill and villainy, whereas
Yeah.
Soraya, although hers is lower, would not necessarily be bad. Probably if she could back it up with talking or something like that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would be. I mean, in this situation, it's more of a technical thing, but I do think that there's sometimes a value to those skills that people of high social class have, that are ancillary, like knowing how to open a bottle of champagne correctly and things like that. There can be a value to that sometimes from a technical standpoint, but once I got myself down that road, I kind of had to give you a bonus for such a low social.
She's joyously common. That's what I love about her. Right, here we go. So I've got rolling flat but with a boon, which is probably good. Well, it depends what one it was, because I would have failed with one of them. It's a 2, a 5, and a 6. That's an 11.
Okay, so total of 11. Okay,
Plus
so
the
with
one
the
from
task
you.
chain complete,
Yeah.
I can tell you that you spot basically 3 things. The first is that the secret panel is relatively shallow on top of the cap, but it covers a large portion of the top of the cap. I mean, the secret area is the entire portion of the top of the cap, but it's actually filled quite substantially. You spot that there is indeed an explosive booby trap there, and one that your captive knew how to avoid tripping. That booby trap is built off the back of a set of 4 fragmentation grenades, one at each corner of the device.
Oh,
of the top.
That would have killed. Something horrible.
Inside, you find a fairly small plastic box, which contains a number of additional credit chips. These are, again, anonymous, generic credit chips, just free cash. The total value of them, if you add them all together, is about 225,000.
I mean, there's 8 of us in our party, isn't there, at the minute?
Yes. So, not an absolute fortune, but a decent amount of money. The other thing that is contained there is a series of flat pack rectangular boxes, plastic boxes, that are absolutely filled with a dark grey powder.
Oh.
As Soraya gets the credit chips out, Agnar will look at her and he'll say, "We should probably tip our serving staff, don't you think?" And gesture over towards the remaining member of Lara's band.
Actually, you read my mind, which is what Sarah would say. She'll say, "Okay, if we give her £1,000, and then each of us can take 28. Am I being generous?"
I think that sounds fair. I mean, it's certainly more than the credits that the rest of the group had on them. Isn't that right? But did you say that, Ben? You said that they've got like.
They've got. I mean, you haven't actually searched your captive's wallet, so to speak. But if it's anything like the others,
yeah,
she'll have dozens, not thousands, of credits.
Yeah, so I think it's certainly a step up.
Soraya flicks a data chip that has about 1,000 onto the prisoner, and sort of chides her, wagging her finger, saying, "If I'd have blown up then, you'd have never got that." That'd be a lesson in honesty.
She takes it and looks genuinely quite startled that you're giving her, money rather than instant death.
Oh. Doesn't mean instant death's out of the question, but for now. Are the crew happy if Sarah and Agnar start handing out 28 grand to everyone? Ish.
Sure.
Ben? Are we able to do that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Agnar will say to Rack, "Do you want to keep those 4 grenades? Can you make use of those?"
He takes a look at them and the mechanism, and he says, I have a feeling I might leave this as it is. I could perhaps make use of a well-designed booby trap.
Safe. Yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
Now, the last question then is, what is this powder?
You can do an investigation check. It's going to be quite a hard one. Does anyone have chemistry skills or academic biology skills?
I've got philosophy. I could philosophize about what the powder is, if that's helpful.
I do have science biology.
Okay.
Only at 0 though, so not as.
That's all right. Science biology crazy. 0. You can roll a check on that with education.
Are we saying that Kara and Stefan are on their way over?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
That's a 6 plus 2 is an 8.
Okay. You are able to identify that it is a quite fine dark grey powder.
Agnar will relay this to Saraya.
I did tell you it was going to be a tough roll.
Yeah, no, I mean,
oh man, I'd never have got that just from looking at it. All those years of study really helped you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Survivor. What's the powder?
You don't know?
I've lived a very delicate existence.
I thought that's what you were here for.
We were here for the decorations.
Well, it's called scale.
SCALE, Ben.
Yeah.
Scale. And what do you do with scale?
Well, I'm not an expert. People who make certain kinds of drugs, I think, use it as a component or a filter or a something, but you only need it for certain types of drugs that do really deep things to the body and mind. So it's something that you kind of need licenses and permits to have. It's expensive.
Is it easy to get buyers for? If you don't have a
Sure,
license
if
or
you don't
permit?
care who they are.
Interesting. What do you think, Agnar? Happy to get your hands dirty and take ownership of it?
Well, I mean, and he'll sort of look over at Rack. It is in someone else's home. However, if Rack would be comfortable with us moving it on and then perhaps shipping them their share of the take, I'd be comfortable with that.
Rack thinks about it for a second, and he says, I'm going to be living here for the rest of my life. At least that's the plan. I can't start that dealing in anything even remotely dodgy. I've got to think about my neighbors and those nuns and, you know, striking out with a completely clean slate. I don't want it here. I don't want anything to do with it. And as far as I'm concerned, if you take it, you're taking it away to destroy it. What actually happens to it, of course, I don't give a toss about.
Well, we can definitely make sure it leaves your house then. You think, Agnar?
We can get rid of it.
Okay.
There are 14 packs of this scale. They look to be fairly pure, fairly sorted, and they completely fill these packets. They're like bricks. Okay. Each of them is 8 kilos in weight. So a total of 112 kilos of scale.
Agnar will say to Sarai, "I'm sorry, you're gonna have to lift that. My back's been playing up these last few days."
Well, there's no point moving it until we know where we're taking it to. I'm guessing it's still nighttime, I guess. I hope our good friend doesn't mind us. I guess he's staying here now. If he can offer the gift of hospitality for the evening.
Well, he can't really offer much in the way of hospitality.
There's no oxygen, is there?
Air.
Of course, there's no air. Oh no. Bad hospitality. So his hospitality's really gone downhill recently.
Obviously, you have access to the G carrier, which is clearly in good enough nick for all of you to sit in and even kip in if you needed to. You've got hotel rooms back at Azureport, or you might even be able to blag a bed in the essentially empty hospital wing of the nunnery.
Yeah. What do we fancy? It's not that. What's it back to town? Was it a couple of hours?
It'll be about 3 hours or so back to Azureport. So you could get there in plenty of time for morning, but not if you actually fancy a night's sleep. The Priory's, well, if you go directly there rather than sneaking around as you were before, it's well under an hour away. Or like half an hour or so.
Well, I'm knackered and my adrenaline's wearing off. Could really do with a sleep. What do other people think? Should we get our heads down somewhere, but where? And what do we do with her?
I'm happy. I'm happy to sleep anywhere. I'd rather our friend not be around, just in case, to remove any temptation that she might have after witnessing us dispose of her friends.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, if you take her with you, unless she has access to transport, she's not coming back because, trudging over the open desert is unlikely to be very rewarding.
Exactly. Like a 45-minute flight. It's going to take a lot longer on the walk back. We could take her with. We could go drop in on the Priory and take her with us. I'm sure they'll give her a bit of food and.
Set her life back on the right track.
Or we can hope.
Back on a different track. Who am I to judge? Agnar says.
Fair enough. All right. So you sit her in the back of the G carrier, presumably, having carefully denuded her of any weapons. Everyone piles in. Rack is still, beaming across his face. He's loving the fact that he's now a homeowner with no mortgage. It's wonderful.
Oh, no wonder he's happy.
Yeah,
the dream.
And he's obviously chatting amiably about when he comes back, he'll drag the bodies outside and see if he can find Moab to feed them to, or something like that. But you all pile into the G carrier and set off towards the Priory. And I think that's a good moment to call it for tonight.
I think it is. With a job well done.
Yeah. Combat well survived.
Yes. No fatalities.
Well done, us. What's Agnar got? 3 damage.
Yes.
That's not too horrific.
That's 3 down. That's, what is it mechanically, Ben? Was it a D6 over the course of a sleep? Basically.
So essentially, and remember, one of the things that the Priory does is heal people. So there will be medical.
That is very true.
As well.
That's very true.
So they may be able to give him an actual bit of TLC as well.
Oh. By playing him CDs by TLC, I hope. that's very healing music. They'll chant. They'll chant waterfalls. As they.
Yeah.
For their morning chant. Right, cool. That's us done then, Ben. Thank you, Ben, for leading us through some combat. Yeah, we were worried, Fitz. I could see it in Ewan's eyes at one point. It was the grenade, wasn't it?
It was the grenade. Yeah. I remember, in fact, the last time we faced explosives was that Varga on the ship, wasn't it?
Yes.
The crews who didn't make it out. So yes, I was very worried at that point.
Yes, grenades can be nasty in Traveller, and people in trouble do tend to throw them a lot.
Yeah, the swines.
Yeah, the thing that kept amazing me is how terrible their roles were at realizing you were breaking your way in. I couldn't believe how bad they were at working that out. So you effectively caught them on the hop.
I say it felt like we had like 4 turns ahead of them, sort of thing. We could really maneuver to exactly where we wanted to be.
Yeah, yeah. They were unlikely to detect anything until you'd opened the first airlock door, but there was every chance they could notice that someone was coming in at that point, and they could have aligned themselves in a team defensively, just waiting for you to come through the door.
Yeah, for sure.
But they kept rolling awfully.
That's what we like to hear.
It happens.
Yeah.
It certainly does. Right. That's us for this stream then. But it's not us for the weekend. We're only halfway through our week of stuff.
Yep.
Oh.
Only halfway, because tomorrow we're doing. Well, actually, Luke, what are we doing tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow the two of you and Sparrow are having pudding.
That's right. Our dessert hasn't arrived yet.
So you get to choose your dessert. That's going to be the first thing you get to do is choose your dessert.
Oh, nice.
I'm looking forward to that.
Not every stream on Twitch has games start where people are choosing their dessert. We return back to the wedding of the year between, I can't remember their names now. Do you remember their names? Between
I've got them here somewhere.
I don't remember, but I do have a lot of stuff written down.
Oh, it's in another room.
Harry Merriweather.
Ah, yes.
And
Hermione Wellington Smythe.
Wellington Smythe.
Ah, Wellington Smythe Merriweather. Or Merriweather Wellington Smythe, or whatever she is now. Yeah. We've gone back to their wedding. That's all right, Curly. Thank you for being around always. Yeah, Henry. We've taken a dislike to Henry. But we're at their wedding. A number of characters have proven to not be very pleasant, and we're kind of finding out why our three heroes want to unleash a pig. So hopefully tomorrow there will be an unleashing of a pig at some point, or the pig might get spotted before it is unleashed and all the best laid plans fall apart. But when there's dessert on the table, even if the plans go wrong, you're going to get something out of the day.
We'll at least get pudding.
There'll be pudding. Yeah, pudding is important.
Pudding is very important.
It certainly is.
Yeah, I know, Spez. He did ghost Tony. He's well out of order, and he's got a bit of a temper on him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him, and I think, frankly, he needs to be brought down a peg or two.
A pig or two.
A pig or two.
Clothesline or two.
So that's what we got tomorrow. We're going back to, what's it called? Pig at a Wedding. Pig at a Wedding, part 2. Pig at a Wedding.
That's tomorrow night.
Yep. Come and join that. That's fun. That's chilled up.
And then I am actually oddly excited about your Sundays at the moment, because I think the Hellblade thing is so beautiful.
It is a really good game.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. So you're doing that again at 11:45 UK time, aren't you, on Sunday?
Yeah, on Sunday. Do it at the end of the day on Sunday. Hellblade part 2. It's Spooky Sunday.
Well, I mean, Hellblade is spookish rather than spooky.
Yeah.
But it's got enough of that in it to make it still atmospheric,
Yeah, atmospheric Sunday. There you go. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it is very pretty, and it's a very interesting game, and I think definitely up for more of that. So we'll do that on Sunday. So you guys have got lots of exciting stuff that you can come and watch us do if you're not busy. Well, Sparrow has to come tomorrow. He's got no choice in the matter. But...
Yeah.
Oh, that's the law.
It is indeed.
Did you see Socks has suggested a possible raid?
Yes, I'm on it.
Good.
Let's go send some love to Skiss. Our lovely Skiss, who is with her boyfriend at the minute. I popped in on her last night, I think, and they were playing Zelda together. They're very cute together, by the way. So a cuteness warning.
Okay.
To all of you. Oh, they're really lovely.
We will brace ourselves.
Okay, so thank you everyone for coming along tonight.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your Saturday.
You enjoyed it.
11 o'clock tomorrow night for a wedding. You're all invited. Wear a tie.
11 tomorrow. Pigs at a wedding.
Oh, I forgot to dress up.
Pigs? Have you got more hidden away?
At least. No. Yeah, pig at a wedding.
No, okay. At least one pig at a wedding, maybe more. There's definitely a chauvinist pig at the wedding, that's for sure.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Right. Night all, let's raid.
Yep. Good night,
everyone.
Yep. Send her a big burst of love. It's good. This is nice. This is nice, guys. Well done. It's Raid.
Let me ask you something here, shorty. Let me see them buttons. You sure we sisters or what? Because I've been heard through the grapevine that, you know, you like as a change.